morning, everybody. I like the enthusiasm in chat this morning already. Everyone's ready to rock. I'm definitely ready to rock, guys. I'm super excited. For those of you who don't know me and don't know what's going on, my name is Voodoo Val, and I am here to host another Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, and this is Adobe Live on Behance. If you're over on YouTube, definitely head over to behance.net/live because this is where I'm reading the chat. It's where everyone is having a great time, chit-chatting with each other, and where I am going to be looking for the duration of the stream. And the same goes for the streams that come after me. So definitely want to be over on Behance. Real quick here, I'm about to jump into the sort of inner workings of the challenge to let you guys know how you can participate with me today. And then we're going to jump into the meat of our Photoshop thing that we're doing today. I'm very excited about it. If you guys have seen the landing page, which I'm about to pull up, it's on behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. We are going to be using the mixer brush today. I'm super pumped for it. All right, let me jump over here and show you guys what we're doing. Who do? That voodoo? That you do? Oh, I do. Welcome in, Jesse. It's good to see you. Chris, Lawrence, Ben, Van Dam, Ahmed, Philippa, Adam, Hari. It's so good to see you guys this morning. Let me pop over here to the screen. So this is behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. And every day we actually reveal a new challenge for you to participate in with either me or one of the other awesome instructors and mentors that we have doing these fabulous challenges. If I scroll down to our challenge today, it is a mixer brush challenge, as I mentioned. It says design a postcard featuring an inspirational quote using the mixer brush. Now this is going to be very exciting because I did actually use the mixer brush one time during the previous round of challenges that I taught for the Adventure Guild challenge. For those of you folks who were here, you might remember we used the mixer brush to create a little 3D bar that we then animated. But it was more of a peripheral tool that we used to supplement the animation challenge. This time I'd like to get into my favorite parts of the mixer brush and show you guys how I like to, how to use it, how to design some pretty cool I suppose color combinations and things to use to change the look and feel of your mixer brush stroke. And then we're gonna make a nifty little graphic. And I can't wait to see how you guys do this because this is something that can evolve into so many different things. So, like I said, mixer brush challenge. If you folks are not a part of the Discord, please scroll down and click this little join us button right here because that is how you join our Discord so that you can post your challenges. I've been in there this morning already kind of giving feedback to some folks, and I'm going to do that a little bit more this afternoon, kind of checking out all of the awesome challenges you folks have posted already. And I'm also going to go through them towards the end of this stream as well as tomorrow and the next day so that I can kind of highlight some of you folks who've been participating and give you a little spotlight, a little shout out on the stream. So real quick, I am going to pull up the Discord just to show you guys what it looks like for those of you who are new. Ooh, Lawrence just posted this day 6 entry. Don't be afraid of spiders. I'm loving it. Yesterday we used Adobe Capture to create some cool graphics that we then brought into Photoshop and used the halftone filter to make kind of like an action comic book kind of piece. So this looks really, really cool. Well done. I'm loving your colors. I'm loving all of the negative space in here. This just looks really good. That is awesome, Lawrence. Well done. We've got Carrie in here with another challenge entry. Carrie did multiple challenge entries today, and this is looking super cool. I love the texture in your halftones in the back here. I love that it's like, I love the uniform of halftones in the other entries, but this is kind of a nice, unique little feel to it. So well done. And then we also got some from Michael. This is pretty cool. Looks like Michael used, what did he say? A skyline section of Manchester. That red building on the back looks super awesome. And I actually see, if you look really close, this is a halftone. It's just very, very subtle, and it's got some nice colors going on in it. So well done, Michael. I'm loving it. And Fanny did one as well. This is cool. Lots of nice movement in the hair. I'm digging it. Fornander did like a classic whack illustration type thing here with the halftones. That looks great, man. Well done. But yeah, we got so many super cool entries. I'm loving the Funko Pop here. Many of you might not know this, but I own like over 150 Funko Pops. I have so many Funko Pops. I am a major nerd, and so I'm loving this. This is really great. But well done, guys. I'll jump in there and check out some more later, but I want to jump into our challenge for now so that we make sure we have time for all of the awesome stuff we're going to be working on today. Taking part in the Creative Jam tomorrow in Chicago. Congratulations, Anna. That's going to be super awesome. Definitely come back and let us know how that went. All right, so let's jump into Photoshop real quick. Let's open this up. So I have created a new blank canvas. And if you are new to Photoshop, if you're a very beginner when it comes to Photoshop, all you have to do is open up the program, hit File, and then scroll down to New. And then it'll bring you to this little window where you can either choose a custom size that you would prefer to use, or you can choose like custom width and height over here. Now I'm doing kind of a postcard size, so there's a lot of different postcard sizes and shapes, but I think a pretty standard size and shape for a postcard, at least here in the US, is like a 6-inch wide by 4-inch tall. So that's what I left it as, and I also set it as a 300 resolution just by default because I print a lot of stuff, and 300 DPI, 300 resolution is the lowest that you want it to be for print. So I just work at 300 every time I make something in Photoshop, just in case I decide in the future I'd like to print it. But I'm going to close this because I've already got my file set up here. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of create a little background real quick, I think, because I want the background of this piece to be pretty cool. Just give a little bit of texture, not trying to be super fancy, but let's maybe grab like a like a pink, like a lavender color. I kind of like that. And then I'm going to switch to my background color here. You can see in the bottom left over there, I'm kind of changing my foreground and my background colors. I'm going to change this to like a darker purple. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my gradient tool on the side here, which you can access by pressing G. And if you don't see your gradient tool, you can right click. It's probably set on the paint bucket tool. You can right click there and select it. So I am going to make sure that my foreground and my background color are set up for this gradient. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go like that. Maybe I'll actually set it to, I like this horizontal gradient. So I'm going to do something like that. And then I have this cool True Grit Texture Co. like noise background that I'm going to drag in here. I'm going to orient this holding shift to snap it. And then I'm just going to add this in because I just want a tiny bit of texture in the background here, so it's not just a gradient. So let's do that, and then I'm going to flip through the blending modes until that's actually pretty cool. That darken, that multiply is neat too, but I'm going to cycle through here until I find something that I really like. I'm thinking like actually that overlay is pretty nice. No, I think I'm going to do the soft light. Let's do soft light. So that's cool. So that just adds kind of a nice little texture background so that we have something back there instead of a flat color or a smooth gradient. If you prefer a flat color or a smooth gradient, that's fine. I'm just doing what I like. So now that we have that, I'm actually going to select, I'm going to unlock this background. I'm going to select all of these by holding shift and clicking the top and bottom most layer. And I'm going to say Control G because I like to group those together. I'm going to double click here and I'm just going to call this BG. So I have a background. And then I'm going to go Control Shift in to make a new layer. And I'm going to call this, let's call this brushes. Let's call it brushes. And that might not make sense to you, but don't worry, we're going to get to that. In between the background and the brushes layer, I'm going to hit my T button here, and I'm going to type out a phrase after I select white for my text, because I want to write something here. I think I'm just going to write, like, in caps, maybe, amazing. And you guys can do, like, a whole, maybe, inspirational quote or something. It doesn't have to be extra fancy. I'm just going to do one word since we don't have a lot of time to orient a lot of different things today. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna change my font. I have a lot of fonts that I like to use, but I want to use something that's more of like a organic, maybe handwriting-esque font. I've got several of these here. I'm thinking maybe I'll use marked, because I kind of like this. I'm going to change the spacing a little bit. If you don't see your character panel, you can actually come up here to window, and it shows you all of the panels that you actually have access to within Photoshop. And you can click a panel here and it will bring it out into your workspace, and then you can actually grab the panel and you can move it anywhere you want. You can see it highlights around the edges blue of your workspace here, so that you can actually place all of these different panels with all these different effects into a lot of different areas to suit you and your work style and your workflow. But I'm going to come into the character area here, and I'm going to turn the spacing down a little bit on this, because I don't want my letters spaced that far apart. So now that they're closer in, I can actually make this a little larger like that. All right, so now that I have that, I'm gonna hide it for now, but we're gonna make some cool looking brushes. And it's up to you how you do this. I personally like to make a little circular selection. I hold Shift so that I keep that as like a perfect circular ratio. And then I'm gonna come in with a brush real quick, maybe a soft round brush, and I'm gonna start grabbing some colors here. Maybe I'll use this color and make it a little more saturated. And I'm just gonna start kind of adding some colors to this little sphere. Let's grab this over here and zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I've got like some pink in there. Maybe I wanna grab like some blue, some bluish purple. Maybe we'll do something like that. You can add that like so. And then maybe we'll add like an in-between color, kind of like that. I like that. Maybe we'll add something that's a lot brighter, just to give it like a little bit of light there. But this is basically how I like to create the basis for what my mixer brush is going to be like. And you can use all kinds of things. You folks can grab in or drag in an image and sample from an image. You guys can paint something and sample from a painting, or you can do what I'm doing here and just create like a little sphere type thing and go on like that. So this is pretty cool. I'm trying not to be too picky here because we are limited on time, but I think that is gonna do it for us. Let me put like a little more saturation and a little teeny tiny bit more brightness here. And I think that's gonna be it. So now that I have like this little sphere, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come over here to my brush and I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna select my mixer brush, okay? And then just like when you use the regular brush, I'm gonna hold Alt to get my sample, and I'm gonna click in the center of this little sphere. And as you can see up here in the top left, it actually shows that I've sampled all of those different shades. Now you can make your brush larger or smaller to get more or less of that sampled. If I make it super small, you can see it's changing how I'm sampling that. If I make my brush larger and I hit Alt and sample, you can see it samples to like the very edge of that circle. So now that I have that selected, I'm gonna hide this brushes layer and I'm gonna say Control D to deselect. And then with my stylus, or if you don't have a stylus, you can use your mouse and turn your change your settings to kind of smooth things out. I am going to go ahead and on another layer, Control Shift in, I'm going to call this swish because I'm going to make a little swish here. I'm going to turn my brush size down and I'm going to go like this. Check that out. So it's sampled all of those super nice gradients that I created there and made us like a nice looking like 3D tube kind of thing, which is super awesome. And you can get super creative with this. So for example, let's bring the brushes layer back. Also, if you do this and you notice that when you hide your layer, your brush is not sampling properly, or when you are on, like I'm on a blank layer, for instance, right now, and then when I try to sample this, it's not allowing me to do that. remember to come up here and select the sample all layers, because it might only be sampling from the one layer that you're on. And if you hit sample all layers, then you could keep this brushes layer on and then just do your swishes on another layer and keep sampling from that, and it'll work. So we can do another one here. Let me grab my marquee tool. Let's do another little brush circle here. And maybe for this one, maybe I want to do, let me get my regular brush tool here. And maybe for this one, we want to do something that is, oh, I don't know. I normally wouldn't use like a yellow color for this, but for the sake of kind of doing this demonstration, let's do like a yellow color, and then maybe let's do more of an orangey color up here. And then let's do something crazy. Let's make like a hard zigzag in here. Let's grab like a harder brush. Let's grab like a red color, a super red color, something that contrasts heavily. And then let's come in here and let's just go like this. Let's just go boom, like that. Now I actually merged or made that on my swish layer, but that's fine, doesn't matter. I'll just make a new layer because I don't want them to be attached. Now that I have that, let's come back to our brush. Remember, we right click and select our mixer brush from our regular brush thing. I'm gonna hold Alt and I'm gonna sample this. Let me make my brush a little bit bigger so I'm sampling all of it. Let's say Alt, boom, maybe a little bit larger. I wanna make sure I get that exactly how I want it. Boom, all right. Now let's go Control D to deselect. I'm gonna hide these and let's try this one out. I'm gonna make my brush a little bit smaller. Check that out. See how you can do all kinds of super cool things with this. You can invent your own cool textures and all sorts of things. And honestly, because we created those little circles, those little pucks, if you will, to sample, this is something where I could save a layer of all of those little circles and discs so that if I make a brush that I really like with the mixer brush, I can come back to that file and sample from that and have the same brush a second time, which is, for me, when I first started using the mixer brush, was something that was very hard for me. If I was sampling from an image, I would sample from a place and it would be really awesome, and then I could never quite sample from the exact same space again, so all my brushes differed whenever I tried to get the same effect. So this is a way that you can keep the mixer brush consistent, which is super cool. Yeah, it looks like churros or toothpaste, but it's very cool. So I'm gonna actually come back to our, let's see, I'm gonna merge these, and I'm gonna rename it brushes again because I want to keep the brushes on one layer. Brushes, and I'm gonna name this new layer Swish, like I originally had everything. And now I'm going to unhide my text layer, my little amazing text. I'm going to come in with my mixer brush and I'm going to sample from my purple here because I want to use my purple. Let's get that like that. That'll work. And then I'm going to hide my brushes and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make like a really nice little swish kind of thing. Let's see, maybe we can even bring it in from off camera a little, or off canvas. Let's see, let's do something like this. That's kind of cool. Maybe we can free transform that with Control T and bump it like so. I like it. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Like that. And then what I'm going to do to make this even cooler is I'm going to hold Control and I'm going to click that text so that I have a selection of just the text made around my little mixer brush swish here. And then on the swish, I'm going to take my eraser tool and I'm going to make sure I have like a hard round brush selected for my eraser tool. And I'm going to come in and I'm actually going to start erasing around to make this little swish look like it's behind some things. Like it's behind pieces of this mixer brush swish. Let's put that behind there, and we'll leave that little lip up there. Maybe we will put, let's see, do that. Because I just like the look and feel of this. We can do that, and then we will put this in front as well. And now I'm gonna hit Control D to deselect, and then it just makes it look like it's all tangled around in there, which is super, super fun. So I'm going to call this done. Normally I might spend a little bit of extra time on this, kind of making it look extra fancy, maybe adding some more textures and things in there, but we don't have all the time in the world this morning, so that is going to be it. And I'm also going to show you another one that I made previously. I made like a blue one like this. And a quick tip before I save and take off for the morning, it is also really, really fun if you, after you make your little swish with your mixer brush, if you actually go to, let's see, image adjustments and gradient map and hit that mixer brush swish with a gradient map. It's super, super fun just to get in there and sort of experiment with what you can do with it, since it has that nice gradient. So if you'd like to check that out, you definitely can. That's a really fun thing to do, a cool little way to mix things up even more. But I'm not going to do that because I actually really like the color that I chose for this. So I'm going to say Control Shift S to save, and I'm going to call this amazing, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and then I am going to throw it into the Discord and onto Behance. So I'm going to say okay, like so, and then let's go to Behance. Boom. I'm going to click on my profile here. I'm going to hover over this gear and hit edit like we do every morning so that we can edit an existing project, and I'm going to scroll down here and I am going to start uploading this. I'm going to upload this into a grid because I want to add both of my different pieces that I've done previously and this morning, because I like having more than one example of a different technique. So I have both of my guys in here, and while this is uploading, we are going to throw these into the Discord as well. So let's pull up the Discord. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to hit that little plus button over on the side there. I'm going to navigate to my folder, and I'm going to snag both of these super cool graphics, and I'm going to upload them. So you guys can get a closer look at those and check those out. Also, if you folks are updating a nice Behance project, making like a cool case study for your challenge entries, please feel free to post your Behance in the Discord, because I always love getting to get a link from you guys so that I can go appreciate your projects and leave you a comment. And I know that everybody else in the community would be super excited to see a collection of the work you've done thus far as well. So definitely do that. Can't wait to see what you folks make with the mixer brush. This is going to be a super fun one. Oops, almost started our intro again. But thank you folks for joining me. It has been a blast. I hope that you folks sort of experiment with those gradient maps a little bit with your little swish, because that's kind of a fun thing. I didn't have time to jump in it too deep today, but I will maybe do a couple more on my own time and post them in there, and keep an eye out for what you create. Stay tuned, because we got a full day of design coming up after me, and I will see you folks tomorrow morning. Adios, everyone.